This is my own personal 2013 F150 with the 3.5 Ecoboost. We're going to talk about it. I like to think this truck's in pretty good shape. I try to keep it pretty nice. It's got 107,000 miles and it's still running. But all jokes aside, I wanted to come and just kind of talk about a few things with this truck, talk about why I own one of these in 2024, even working at a, brand new truck dealership, and go over what I think about it. So, like I said, I like to think it's in pretty good shape. I try to keep it pretty clean, pretty nice. Everything's pretty clean in here for the most part. It's got some scratches on the side, but you can't really see them very much because they're white. I didn't really like white vehicles until I owned this truck, and now I certainly understand. It's got tons of room in the back seat. I do have a family, so that is super, super nice. If you know what some of these things are back here, then you know. Same thing with something up here. So as I mentioned, guys, it is a 3.5 EcoBoost with a 355 rear end, so we're going to talk about some towing, how it's holding up, the FX4 package, if I like it, what I think about it, etc., etc. So first off, this has been overall a really good truck to me. Never really had any major issues. Admittedly, I'm not the first owner, but I have put a lot of miles on this truck, and it's been really, really good. This truck has plenty of power for everything that I do. Don't quote me on the numbers. I'm sure you'll tell me I'm wrong. It's like mid 3s horsepower, low 4s torque, 430, something like that. So it's really not too bad. It does a good job towing all the light stuff that I'm towing. I'm not towing anything crazy. It is rated to tow 9,600 pounds or something like that. Payload's like just under 1,400 though, so obviously that doesn't necessarily line up, but that's all right. So I would be lying if I said that I beat the wheels off of this truck. I certainly don't. I take good care of it. I do use it, but I don't abuse it, right? It's been a good truck overall. It is the FX4. It's stock. I do a lot of hunting, camping, whatever else, tow some small stuff. The FX4 package locking rear, it has got me some places that I wouldn't have taken my older trucks. But with that being said, it's certainly not a Wrangler by any means. I don't do any rock crawling or anything, stupid crazy. In terms of towing, it does tow pretty well. I've owned 3 diesels and it is not a diesel. Anybody that says an EcoBoost tows like a diesel is mostly wrong. I get what they're getting at, which is that your power is a little bit lower in these trucks than, say, a V8. But overall, it's still a far cry from towing with a diesel. So as most of you guys know, FX4 comes with 4 high, 4 low, locking diff, blah, blah, blah. Also comes with hill descent control in this particular year. As you can see, the technology isn't exactly the latest and greatest, but hey, that's okay. It doesn't do Apple CarPlay. Whatever. Personally, that stuff doesn't mean a lot to me. I spend a lot of time around it. It's certainly nice. It is a benefit. I can live without it. So as you guys saw, it has 100 and something thousand miles, right? 107 and change, if I remember correctly. Overall, it's been a good, reliable truck. It does have the twin turbo motor, and they haven't blown up yet. I know I'm getting to that legendary 110, 125,000 mile mark where, according to a lot of people, there's a fuse on these, and the moment you hit that mileage range, both of them, they light the fuse and boom, up they go. Hopefully that's not the case for me. Nobody likes when stuff like that happens. Also, back in these days, we were using ancient transmissions. This one's only a 6-speed, which kind of sounds crazy to say, but as you guys know, all the modern stuff is 8 and 10. Speaking of them turbos not blowing up, let's talk about partially why I believe maybe they haven't yet. They still push strong boost. They feel really good. Engine brakes works well in tow haul mode and everything like that. Blah, 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 blah. You have to do your maintenance on an EcoBoost, and let's talk a little bit about why. Now, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not going to pretend to know every single thing about it. There's places for that. This isn't going to be one of them. In short, anything with a turbo, you got to maintenance a little bit more, as a broad stroke statement, okay? I do my oil changes early. Spark plugs, coils, all those things a little bit more often than something like a 5-liter V8 or even a Hemi or whatever. Right. So guys, maintenance, maintenance, maintenance on anything like this, anything diesel, really anything in general. Now, in particular, I live in Arizona. Heat is a big, big thing here. Obviously, towing, anything really even heavy at all, no matter what truck you have, 110, 115, 120 degrees in the summer, that is going to be a little bit harder on stuff than towing in a cool 55, 60. That hasn't seemed to have caused too many issues for me. I don't have overheating problems. It doesn't overheat. I don't exactly grab the turbos right when I got done pulling a hill, but overall numbers stay really, really good on this truck. Speaking of the heat, one thing that Arizona is notorious for is tearing up paint and tearing up plastics. You can see this one's coming up a little bit. They all are a little bit faded, but I have seen much, much worse. Overall, it's pretty impressive how well this has held up after, 10, 11 years in the Arizona desert. So as I'm sure some of you noticed earlier, right now, idling around, whatever, this is getting 18 miles a gallon. Pretty decent for a full-size truck, nothing to write home about, but I want to say my lifetime mileage is like 17.2 or 16.8 or something like that. It's somewhere in there, which again, not anything to brag about, but it's definitely not horrible. As I said, guys, this truck has been used, but it has not been abused. There's lots of these little scratches and paint defects running down each side. You can't really see it on the camera, I don't think, but it's been used. I don't beat the crap out of it by any means. I take good care of it, but overall it has held up very, very well. So overall, guys, do I like the FX4 package? Yes, I do. Do I like the Ecoboost? Yes, I do. Hasn't blown up on me. That's pretty good, right? But in all seriousness, why do I drive this truck in 2024 when I work at a dealership? I could take my pick of new trucks, lightly pre-owned trucks, you name it. I could pick one up for a really good deal. Well, just like a lot of you guys, I'm sure, I'm not made of money, right? This truck's very affordable. It gets reasonable fuel economy. I bought it at a pretty reasonable time. It just makes sense for me to keep it for the time being. While it's reliable, still running good, it suits all my needs for now, which honestly might be changing here in the near coming future, talking about getting a bigger camper and stuff like that. But for the time being, I just don't really need anything else. I know nobody ever necessarily needs anything else, but us truck fellas, we tend to flop into stuff really for no reason at all other than just because. And if you do, that's okay. So overall, guys, like I said, not the most detailed video ever, but like I say, I think this is a pretty... So like I said, guys, just wanted to give you a short kind of review of my truck, some brief points. Any more questions, leave them in the comments. As I said, to me, it's been a good truck. I'm a fan of the Ecoboost as of now. That could change any day. But in all seriousness, it's been a good truck. It has lots of room. It's all flat under here. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what's going on with this rear setup. But as I mentioned, I haven't done a lot of, any crazy aftermarket stuff at all. It's just been in its stock form. Do your maintenance. Keep the tires good. Oil changes, other maintenance, you name it, keep it up to date, and they should be pretty solid trucks for you. So that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you think I screwed up, which I'm sure I did, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you think this truck sucks, if it's great, if you have one, hate them, whatever. Let me know what you drive, if you like it, don't like it. You name it. Drop it in the comments. Is this 2013 F-150 Ecoboost worth buying in 2024? It's got 107,000 miles and change. Overall, it's pretty clean inside. It's got plenty of room for activities back here. It's rated to tow 9,600 pounds. Now, that might be a little bit off with the payload, but you know what I'm saying. So do you think this truck would be worth buying or something similar to it here in 2024? If so, drop it in the comments. Let me know. If not, let me know why in the comments. I'm sure there's a lot of good reasons either way.